On. Good afternoon, everyone. So, any questions? I think you have sent some questions to me. Let me check. Yeah. Uh, okay. One questions you asked me, sir. Government has allowed FDI in key sectors such as bank, insurance, defense, space. Also, need to allow FDI in retail sectors. How far will this policy have impact upon country's employment economy? Uh, Anil Kumar Roy, your questions asking these things, but you know, when first FDI started in retail sector, then there was protest. There was protest, huge protest. Government's taken it back, and because when you are thinking about FDI, yeah, one more thing is that when you are saying about FDI, so inflow of FDI or inflow in FPI. Now it's clear what are the difference. So when you are receiving FDI, normally if you just take the 10, just leave the 10% conditions, you take the normal, suppose FDI. When you are talking about the FDI policy, generally we are government talking about, okay, we are allowing FDI will come, then it will good for the country. So generally this main FDI you're talking about, when FDI will come, it's good. So basically, if you're talking about FDI in the physical assets, means set up the new plant, new factories. So if you take that, okay, when you are receiving FDI, okay, then you are not getting only capital, but at the same time you are getting the advanced technology, and you are also getting the better management. If you are getting huge capital, foreign capital, better management, and advanced technology, so there is a possibility that, okay, the output, the production, the output, what you are going to produce, you can produce the good, the best goods, okay. And if you're producing, then in the future you can export it from your country, and you can also earn the foreign currency. It will help you to increase in exports and other things. And if production is going on in the country, then it's going to increase your employment opportunities. Fine. So when you are going to basically support FDI when few things you can check. If you are getting advanced technology in that sector, you are getting the huge investment in that sector, if you are just getting the better management, and which is really going to increase the productive activities in the country, going to increase employment opportunities, then we can say, okay, it's good for the country. Why FDI? Generally today you can see the government open the defense sector, because really in the defense sector we are far behind the other countries. So if you want to develop yourself, then it takes time. But suppose already some country has excelled, and you are making a tie-up with them, and you're asking these countries to come and invest in my country and start working with them, in very short span of time you are able to achieve the advanced technology. Take one simple example I am giving you. When you started the metro railways in India, so basically we are depending on the Japan. So everything we are importing from Japan, we are buying from the Japanese things, your compartments, everything you are buying it. But now you developed your technology, okay, you started exporting to other nations. Now we started exporting other nations. So you understand, in very short span of time, since when you started working, so there is a learning by doing. So after learning by doing, you already reached with equivalent to them. So from here, if you want to grow or you want to innovate, it's take very less time, and you are able to cross them. in the development, in the technology. So that's the one. There's other reasons we are prefer to go for FDI. Why in defense sector? We are just seeking the investment from those countries. They already excelled good in the defense sector. So that is our motive. Now, retail is that generally it is considered as if you are going to invest in the, you're allowing to invest in the retail sector, then these investors are going to bring the low price product from different countries, and they will make your market just the consumption market. If it is going to happen, then what will happen? The production is not going to increase, employment is not going to generate. So in retail sector, threat was, take your own example today, how the MNCs and how the corporates are working in the country. So like suppose you are going to buy anything from the big mall or big mall from the, they are offering you higher discount. But same thing if you go to buy the local markets, then you have to pay the higher price. But that is the only short term this you are getting is. So when you are habituated to go and buy from the mall and the big markets, then the local markets are going to just out of the market. Once the local markets, you are not getting the, I mean the product, varieties of product. Why? Because they may wait for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. If they're not getting the customers, so why they will bring to sell it? Then finally in the long term, you are going to depend on the big markets. Okay, that is a mall and other things. But problem is that once you are going to depend, then they will exploit it because you don't have any options. You don't have any alternative to go and buy this. So this strategy is there. So it is a matter of concern if you are not allowing the competitive environment, it may be one of the result. But retail sector, really you have to think if we need that retail sector investment or not. But if you're allowing that, then what the government is doing, even they are going to allow, then government is making some compulsions. Okay, this much of product, this percentage of product, you have to buy from the country. And if you are doing any international trade in other countries, then that product you have to sell in the other market. So what is the volume of transactions? One part you have to domestic products you have to sell in other total in the given percentage you have to sell. So if you're pressurizing it, in their product they have to include the domestic product also. So then you are giving some incentive that domestic production will go up and employment will create. So this type of condition government is putting in this retail sector. Clear? But finally you have to allow the clear, Mr. Roy. Next, foreign investment in textiles and retail sectors, how it will impact upon domestic traders. Just the retail sector I have discussed. Textile sector, textile sector, if suppose you are allowing the FDI, suppose a textile sector actually we already excelled, and due to the low labor cost, there is a possibility to develop this sector. There is a possibility, but the other things, the regulations, regulatory front, the ease of doing front, we are not able to compete. Because China is going to leave this market due to the because textile is relatively more labor intensive. China is going to lose this market in the garments, okay, because due to the higher labor cost started increasing. So China is going to be relatively less competitive, but the benefits you can see, Bangladesh is getting these benefits. Today, if you see the, the branded shirts, what you are buying it, the Bangladesh started supplying it. So Bangladesh excelled better in this field. So depending on your country, how you're going to just respond that, if really you are able to change your existing rules, regulations, environment, you are able to make favorable to that, then we can compete in the international market. Okay. So private sector is open for space, so why restriction on it? That's already I discussed with you. So India has ratified bilateral investments treaty with Brazil, Pakistan and Gulf countries and other European countries, etc. How do these treaties work to inflow foreign capital into India and outflow domestic capital into foreign nations? Or the same, if you just normal, if your bilateral treaty you are going, so bilateral treaty you have to do what is the basis of the treaty? What are the agreements of that part? treaty you are making, the what is the agreements. So generally the major part we are doing treaty for the trade, foreign trade. And foreign trade means you are producing in your country and you are selling in my country. I will produce in my country, I will sell to your country. If the part of treaty is the investment, then you are going to allow the investment in your country, they are also going to allow in these countries. So always remember, very normal concept I'm telling you, if any sectors where you have advantage, then you prefer to go and just allow the FDI and allow privatization of this one. You allow it because you can compete it, you are the excelled in that sector. But if country like India, if suppose some sectors are not competent, if you're allowing it, so there is a possibility it can harm your economy. But FDI, if it is coming, FDI in that sector is coming, then what good things they are bringing, the new technology or advanced technology. So made possible this sector can perform better in your country, can perform. And if your product is going to demand in international market, so output in your country or production in your country is going to increase, employment is going to increase, and spillover effects. If you're developing one industry, so definitely this development of this industry is going to develop other industries. So spillover effects will work and economy is going to get the multiplier effect, and which is good for the country. So what is hot money and how does it impact an economy? Nimai Mandal, hot money is just more demanded money in international market. Hot does not mean if you touch then you can feel hot. No. Hot money means it's a more demanding currency in international market. Like dollar you can say, euro you can say. These are the more demanding currency in the country. Okay. So, and that is the reason Indian currency is not international currency. So we are getting the exchange rate problem that's already discussed in yesterday class. Clear? Now, few things left. Let me complete today. So external part is over this topic also. If anything remain, then some small doubts and question, then now. Sometimes they are asking in PT paper, okay, and even other states also asked, states PCS also asked. So you should know generally the concept of types of FDI. So one is known as horizontal FDI. Second is known as vertical FDI. It's R, huh? It's R. Sometimes you are getting these words when you are going to read some article related to FDI. Yes, this FDI is horizontal FDI, this FDI is vertical FDI, this FDI is a conglomerate FDI, platform FDI. Okay. Okay. Now come one by one. We are discussing this. Suppose you take any country, say USA, and suppose it's India. No, you take country like Japan, because you asked question related to Japan. Bullet train, take this. Suppose in Japan, one company is working, say Toyota is working. Okay, this Toyota company, suppose they want to open an industry or unit in India. Suppose Toyota country is producing the car. Take this example. So if Toyota country set up a new plant in India, they set up a new plant in India, and they decided to go to produce car in India. So any company which are operational in domestic economy, domestic means home economy, and same business they are doing in other countries, just they expanded the business. Earlier Toyota was producing only in Japan and Toyota was producing car. Now same Toyota company set up a plant in India, a new plant they set up, and they started manufacturing the car. So when Japanese company they invested in India, they set up new plant, it is your FDI. But this FDI is known as horizontal FDI because same activities you expanded. Same activities you expanded from domestic economy to other country. So if you take, suppose you just consider as India's point of view, then you're receiving FDI from Japan, okay, but Japanese company they invested in your country in those activities. This company is already doing the same activities in the Japan. So car producing Toyota just set up a car producing plant in India, then it is a horizontal FDI, just horizontal expansion. Okay, when you are saying vertical FDI, so vertical FDI means Toyota they set up plant, they are manufacturing car in Japan, and this Toyota company set up a plant in India, and they don't prefer to produce car, but they are producing in this plant, say any part of car, say engine they are producing in this India, the engine of car. Suppose they decided, I will set up a plant in India, and this plant will only produce engine one. And this engine they are going to, or you can say any parts of the car, they wanted to produce in India. Why? Because maybe the skilled workers or resources or any other things, it is available in India and which suits to produce at low cost in India. So what they are going to do, they will set up the plant in India and producing the output, and they're using this engine, or they are producing this input and using for production in their hometown or in the car. So you are knowing the car having the so many different parts you are using. So maybe some part if they are producing in their own country, so cost of production is going to be higher. So suppose India is the one of the best destinations where if they're investing and producing some parts of the car, maybe engine, maybe any other parts, so they can set up the plant and they're producing at the low cost and more efficient and productive. And this output they're using as an input to produce the car in their home country. So this type of investment or FDI is known as vertical FDI. And vertical FDI, if you are doing, it means you are developing supply chain. It is the concept of supply chain you developed. Okay, it is a supply chain. So then you can say it is a vertical FDI. Clear to all? Okay. Conglomerate FDI means suppose Toyota is producing car in Japan, but Toyota started producing bike in India. Toyota decided, I will produce bike in India. So they set up a plant in India and they started producing the product which is not related with their, or I mean mother plant, or the plant or the activities or business activities what they are doing at their hometown or not town, home country. Okay, this you are doing the different business other than that in other countries. So you are receiving FDI, but the company who is coming to your country, they started doing business or they set up the plant to produce something which is different from what this company is producing at their domestic economy. So this type of FDI is known as conglomerate FDI. Clear? Fourth one is known as platform FDI. Platform FDI generally means platform FDI. Okay, suppose a company is thinking that company, suppose concept is कि there is a particular company. Take the example of India. So suppose any large company that thinks if I can just take India as a central point, and I'm knowing that in Indian market this product demand is very less, but the product demand in other nations which is nearby India or around India, this product is more demanding in these areas, these countries, and the cost of production of that product in India is low. So what I can do, the foreigners, they can invest in India, or they are going to set up their own plant in India. But Indian economy or this investment, they are just using as a platform. They will invest and the output they are producing, they are going to only export. The main aim is to meet the international market or export it from this country. So your country is used just like a platform. So if you are getting the investment like this, then you can say it is a platform investments. Clear? So just write all of you. Horizontal FDI. Horizontal FDI. Right, a business expands its domestic operations. A business expands its domestic operations to another country, that is, company undertakes the same activities, but in a foreign country, Clear? Now next you write vertical FDI. Right, the domestic company undertakes different activities in foreign country, but these activities related to main business, that is moving to a different level of the supply chain. That is moving to a different level of supply chain. That is the vertical FDI. Okay, third one you write conglomerate FDI. Right, a business undertakes unrelated business activities of domestic business. A business undertakes unrelated business activities of domestic business in a foreign country. In a foreign country. That is a conglomerate FDI. Okay. Platform FDI you can write a business expense into a platform based FDI, right? A business expense into a or in a business expense in a foreign country, but output produced in this country, but output produced in this country, exported to a third country, Okay, it is a concept of your platform FDI. Clear? Only one thing's okay. If you're talking about the retail one, so generally in the retails, single brand retail the government has allowed. Single brand means only one brand company they can retail, they can do the retail business in the country, and that is 100% allowed, 100% allowed through automatic route. One I prefer to just say, and I do, okay, that is a e-commerce, FDI in e-commerce. Other you read, but let me discuss it next. FDI in e-commerce, because it is more demanding, and in coming future your economy is depending on e-commerce activities, so you should know about that. What is the government is planning for e-commerce? So e-commerce, if you think, then e-commerce you can divide into two different parts. One is known as marketplace based model of e-commerce, and second one, it is known as inventory based model of e-commerce. Inventory based model of e-commerce. So e-commerce business, I think all of you are knowing the e-commerce one. E-commerce, like earlier in my time when I was doing the graduations and this, so the very standard book defining the market, that market is a place where buyers and sellers interact. But since you don't need today a specific place to do this interaction or buying and selling process, even can do at anywhere, okay, on e-platform or anywhere you can do that. So simply you just define market where the buyers and sellers interacting. That place may be a physical place, they may be the e-platform. So you are going to include everything. Just market where the buyers and sellers interact each other. Clear? So e-commerce business means you are doing the business on e-platform. So now the e-commerce activities you can define in two major group, or you can divide in two parts. One is known as marketplace based model of e-commerce, and one is known as inventory based model of e-commerce. Fine. Now, what do you mean by marketplace based model of e-commerce? It means, suppose any entity, business entity or entity, if suppose they are developed a platform, suppose I develop a e-platform, and this platform I'm just allowing the buyers and sellers to interact each other on this platform. So I only acting as a facilitator. I am only acting as a facilitator. I developed e-platform where I am allowing buyers and sellers both to come on this platform and interact each other. Okay, and I am only concerned with the commissions that I am going to take from the seller. But yes, the responsibility of all of the responsibility I am going to take. Okay, like the consumer, I'm going to ensure the consumer about the product, and I'm going to ensure the seller for the payment. But I'm not directly going to deal in the buying and selling process. I just develop a platform where buyers can come and sellers can come, and directly they can interact with each other. So this type of e-commerce is known as marketplace based model of e-commerce. See, you are getting this? Marketplace based model of e-commerce. And one of the best example is Amazon. Amazon is the one of the best example. You are getting this. Okay, where you are just going to book anything, you are buying so many things from Amazon. So what you are getting, okay, when you are going there, so sellers are not the Amazon. Sellers are different companies. They are selling their product on this platform and buyers are buying this. Amazon is only going to facilitate the facility. They are acting as a facilitator. So in India, in this type of e-commerce, marketplace based model of e-commerce, 100% FDI is allowed, 100%, and through automatic route, 100% FDI is allowed. Okay, it means the foreign company, they can set up the business and 100% they can own this ownership, which is known as 100% FDI. They don't need any make the partner with the Indian company. 100% they are owning. Inventory based model of e-commerce, it means, okay, suppose I'm business, I'm doing my business, but I develop a platform, but maybe I'm buying all the product from the sellers directly. I'm buying all the product from sellers directly and keep it in my stock, or I just make it my own inventories, and then directly I am dealing with the customer. So customers only knowing me, they are buying from me, so they are not knowing who are the actual sellers. So if I am doing this type of business or this e-commerce, then this e-commerce known as the inventory based model of e-commerce. Means I'm buying directly from the seller or producer, you can say from producer directly I am buying it and I am selling to the consumers. Okay, so it is known as a B2C. When you are writing B2C, it is the B2C. Short form we are writing this. B2C means business to consumer. Directly you are doing the consumer. But this model is known as a B2B, business to business. Some businessman is doing and I am doing the business with them. So inventory based model of e-commerce, here FDI, foreign direct investment, is not allowed in India. FDI is not allowed. Clear? Clear? Just you write few lines. Right. E-commerce. First you write the concept of e-commerce, right? E-commerce means buying and selling of goods and services. Including digital products over over digital and electronic network, over digital and electronic network. Clear here? Now, next you write about e-commerce entity. It's e-business, e-commerce entity, right? E-commerce entity means a company. E-commerce entity means a company incorporated under the Companies Act, incorporated under the Companies Act, or a foreign company, comma, branch or agency in India, foreign company, comma, branch or agency in India, on or controlled by a person resident outside India, and conducting the e-commerce business, and conducting the e-commerce business, and conducting the e-commerce business, and conducting the e-commerce business. Clear? Right. First you write marketplace based model of e-commerce. Write about this. Marketplace based model of e-commerce. Marketplace based model of e-commerce means marketplace based model of e-commerce means providing an information technology platform, means IT platform, providing an information technology platform by an e-commerce entity, on a digital and electronic network, to act as a facilitator between buyer and seller. So you are acting just a facilitator. Now next write inventory based model of e-commerce. Write few lines. Inventory based model of e-commerce means an e-commerce activity where inventory of goods and services is owned by e-commerce entity, and is sold to the consumers directly, Okay, change the para. You write change the para. 100% FDI under automatic route, 100% FDI under automatic route is permitted in marketplace model of e-commerce, Okay, full stop, right? FDI is not permitted. FDI is not permitted in inventory based model of e-commerce. Is not permitted in inventory based model of e-commerce. Okay, just write one more line. Subject to provisions of FDI policy. Subject to provisions of FDI policy. FDI policy. E-commerce entities will engage only in business to business, B2B, business to business e-commerce, business to business e-commerce, and not in business to commerce e-commerce, B2C, and not in business to customers, sorry, business to customer, business to consumer, you can write business to consumer e-commerce. That is not permitted. Clear to you? Now, few things you write, one things I prefer because controversy arised, when company came in India, they set up the e-commerce. In the initial stage, it acted as a marketplace based model of e-commerce, but they started acquiring the inventories. Then government restricted, and government clearly instructed if that you are holding inventories from any vendor beyond, there's 25% beyond this, beyond this, then you will be considered as inventory based model of e-commerce, and if it is considered as inventory based model of e-commerce, then you are not allowed. Okay, so later on they given this one, so change the parry, write few lines. E-commerce entity providing a marketplace will not exercise ownership or control over the inventory full stop. Such an ownership or control over the inventory will render the business into inventory based model. Full stop, right? Inventory of a vendor will be deemed to be controlled by e-commerce marketplace entity, if more than 25% of purchase of such vendor, more than 25% of purchase of such vendor are from the marketplace entity or its group companies. Suppose associated companies, if they're buying more than 25% from any vendor, or if these companies buying more than 25% from a vendor, and that is meant for sale to the customers, then it is known as the inventory based model of e-commerce. Clear here? get it. And just change para, just write only one more line. Right. E-commerce entities right, e-commerce marketplace entity. Yeah, just write e-commerce marketplace entity may provide support services to sellers in respect of warehousing, comma logistics, order fulfillment, comma call center, comma payment collections, and other services, clear? And please read consolidate FDI policy of the Government of India that you can get from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry or Ministry of Finance, also you can get. So directly you go through and just see that. That's its request. Okay, see that. I personally request to you, if really you want to clear this exam, you just just consult the government documents directly. It takes time, it will take your time, but you are getting to understand the intent of the government related to the policy, different policies, and also you are trying to get the what exactly happening in the economy. And since private analysis or analysis of any private one or any other organizations, you should not consider it. Yeah, if normal perception is there, it's good. As far as policy of the government is concerned, okay, be supportive, even you are going to criticize, but your criticism should be in very positive directions, follow in that way. Clear? Now just check here till here is clear to all. Okay, now next you write FPI, give the headings. Okay, no questions. Okay, fine. Just write next FPI, write few lines FPI, and I just give you few lines about FII and QFI, so you should know, because now these two are merged, right? FDI, you can write, or better you write first FII, then if you're writing FII, then in different we can go to this stepwise. Right, FII, foreign institutional investor. Now FDI I am ending here. Now FII, foreign institutional investors. You can say foreign institutional investors or investment, both you can say. So as I discussed with you, these are basically category of international institutions. Okay, they are investing in India. So just write foreign institutional investors. Investor means an institution established or incorporated outside India, which are allowed to invest in Indian capital market, okay, comma, are known as or don't write it, just full stop, are allowed to invest in Indian capital market, full stop, right? FII are allowed to invest in primary market and secondary markets of capital market. Primary market and secondary markets of capital market. Clear? Just write FII just and one form, just FII is just one form of foreign investments in India, foreign investment in India. FII includes the followings. Right? Pension funds. These are the foreign institutions, or you can write better foreign pension funds. Next you write foreign mutual funds. You write foreign investment banks and banks. Normal banks you're talking about, and maybe also the investment banks. Right? Foreign insurance companies. Right? Foreign central banks, etc. etc. So if these are institutions they're investing in India, they consider as the FII. Clear? And just you write the ceiling, CEILING. Ceiling means maximum limit. The ceiling of investments in a particular sector, through FII varies from sector to sector. Okay, full stop, right? SEBI controls FII and regulates it. SEBI controls FII and makes rules and regulations for FII. Just I'm giving the introduction of what is FII, but again I'm telling you FII and QFI merged. Clear? Now you write QFI, qualified foreign investors, QFI. Right? The QFI is subcategory of foreign portfolio investment, and it refers to any foreign individual or group of individuals from a country that is a member of Financial Action Task Force. Full stop. Right? QFI scheme was introduced by Government of India in consultations with RBI and SEBI in the year 2011 through a union budget announcement. Right? The objective of QFI is to infuse more foreign funds, to inject more foreign funds in the Indian capital market. And reduce market volatility as individuals are considered considered to be long-term investors as compared to institutional investors okay, full stop, right? Okay. till 2011 foreign investors including till 2011 foreign investors including nationals, including individuals, you can write including individuals or foreign nationals were allowed to invest in India only through FII, Bas. This much you please write it. So QFI was introduced in 2011. And why it was so? Because you understand the logic and reason behind it. You take India here and you take Western countries here. So in Western countries, basically the impact of Great Depression was more, and that was prevailing. And you know, year is 2011, just after few years of great recessions. Okay, so individual of this country, we are searching a good option for them where they can invest and they can get the higher return. But till year 2011, okay, only one route it was to invest in India. So they are investing in their institutions. So they were investing in institution through FII. They were investing in India. But when you're coming in this route, because institution they were not performing, so always, the return of the individual investor was very low, sometimes even in the negative. So they are not preferred to invest in their own institutions. But that time India was only allowed in foreign investments only through the institutional investment, FII. So individuals of the Western countries, they were searching in the better market where they can invest and they can get the high returns. So they were demanding this. Okay, that time there was a need of them, and India was also facing the lack of foreign capital. So they also wanted the foreign capital. So these both demands, when they want to invest and India want to receive it. So keeping in this mind all the situations, the government of India allowed, okay, fine, you don't need to go to the institution and then to invest. Directly you can invest as an individual in Indian capital market through QFI. So that is the reason QFI was introduced in 2011 to attract the individual foreign investors in India in 2011. But yes, only one condition, the country from where you are investing or you are from, your country must be the member of FATF, for Financial Action Task Force. Okay, this was the condition. Clear? Okay. So later on, after this 2011, then debate was again, I discussed with you that's whether we should go for the international definition or not of FDI PI. So Government of India, Union Government, in 2013-14 budget, when Government of India presented, that time the ministry, finance minister, put their intentions. Yes, we are going to change the definition, that is we are going to accept the international concept. So when finance minister announced this in the budget, so accordingly a committee was constituted under the chairmanship of Arvind Mayaram, and this Arvind Mayaram was in the news in recently due to some other reasons. Okay, Arvind Mayaram. So, under the chairmanship of Arvind Mayaram, one committee was constituted to look into the international definition. We can accept it. Okay. So, Arvind Mayaram committee recommended this. Recommendations was there, and on the basis of Arvind Mayaram committee recommendation, the government notified FPI regulations. And after API regulations, the new definition also accepted, and they merged the concept of FII and QFI in India. And as per these two merger, and now it is known as FPI only. And API you are knowing under the FPI regulations. API regulation 2014. So API regulation you notified, and under this you merge these two, and now you are known as the API. So today only you are knowing the API. Clear? So just write in the Union Budget 2013-14. In the Union Budget 2013-14, the Finance Minister put his intentions to accept internationally accepted definitions, for FDI and API, Accordingly, a committee was constituted. Under the chairmanship of Arvind Mayaram. Full stop, right? On the basis of committee's recommendation, Government of India notified Foreign Portfolio Investment Regulation 2014. Government notified Foreign Portfolio Investment Regulation 2014 in 2014 and accepted the international concepts of FDI and API. And also merged FII and QFI, that is qualified foreign investors, QFI, and also merged FII and QFI in FPI, full stop. Now these two are known as FPI today. Now these two are combinedly known as FPI today. Clear? Remember, if you are say which one is more stable, so always remember FDI is more stable than FPI. If you are talking about the stability for the country, FDI is always stable in compared to FPI. So FDI is more stable. You just take the example, we faced pandemic, we faced so many problems, but really FDI, which you can see in India, like Toyota set up the plant, your Maruti set up the plant, Hyundai set up the plant, Honda set up the plant, really they left the India? No, still they are bearing everything with us. But API is very dynamic in nature. If you are growing, then the API will come, but when your economy is going downwards, they will leave this. That is there. Now, just to write FPI few lines, then I'm okay. Write FPI, foreign portfolio investment. Just write definition, concept. Already I discussed these things, right? FPI means, yeah, FPI means any investment made by a person, any investment made by a person resident outside India through capital investments where such investment is less than, already I discussed this, less than 10% of the post issue paid up capital of a listed Indian company, clear? So that definition we accepted. Clear here? Now this part is over. Now you tell me any concept, anything it's left and you are not getting, then you tell me. Let me check your queries. You are asking, sir, how market-based model is B2B? Business and consumers are directly contacting each other via Amazon. No. Somali, you just think. So India, Biswajit, please don't bring the politics in this part. Purely I am talking about, from the first day I am talking about the pure economics. You are having, sir, India claim that POK is an integral part of India. Please leave it from this topic. You know, if you are going to discuss all this topic, it will consume our time and we are not able to complete these things. That is India and Pakistan never solve, they are not able to solve these problems. Again, why you are going in this? Okay, yes, one question you asked, sir, how market based model is B2B? Then your question mark, you're writing business and consumers are directly contacting each other via Amazon. See dear, B2B, it simply means suppose I am doing business, suppose I developed a platform, say I am the person who developed the Amazon, I am doing this business. If I am doing this business, then to whom I am doing the business? I am charging any price from you? Suppose you are a customer. You came on my platform. Are you paying anything to me? No. So how can you say I am doing business with you? No. I am doing business with seller who sells their produce on my platform. I am charging commission to them. So I am doing the business to a person who is himself is a businessman. He is doing the business with you. So this is the way. I am Amazon owner, say I am doing business with the seller. So I am doing business to business, B2B. Here is the consumer. So suppose I'm taking product from you and then I'm selling to the consumer and I'm making a profit, then I can say it is a B2C, business to consumer. See Amazon? When you're going to book, please check it. Seller is not Amazon. Seller is some other company, other seller. Amazon is only acting as a facilitator between you, that is the consumer, plus the seller. Only. They are giving the sticker, everything they're giving the Amazon, but basically it's through Amazon you are getting it, but the product is sold by the seller. That is the reason we are saying it's B2C. B2B, not the B2C. Okay. And B2C is the inventory based model. Now, these all are over. Now, next I am coming to economic integrations, and it is the last topic. Economic integrations. Okay. So, economic integrations, you understand one thing. First is stage of, take the different stages of. First stage is known as a PTA. PTA means preferential trade agreement. Preferential trade agreement. Second one is known as FTA, free, you can say preferential trade agreement, or you can say preferential trade area. You can say free trade area or agreement, depending on you what you want to say. Third one is known as custom union. Fourth one you say common market. Fifth one you can say monetary union. And monetary union, you can give the example Eurozone. Sixth one you can write okay. These are the 5 stages. If you are moving from this to this downward, then degree of economic integrations keeps increasing. If you are moving downward, say you are moving from PTA, that is a preferential trade agreement or area, to FTA, free trade area or agreement, then its degree of integration has increased. Then you are moving to the custom union, it's relatively more integrated. Then you are going to the common market, it's relatively more integrated. Then you are going to the monetary union, again it is relatively more integrated. And then you enter to the complete economic integration, it is again relatively more integrated, and it is the highly integrated. And not a single country, but Not a single group of countries, not a single, because if you're going for integrations, at least two countries must be there. So not a single group has reached at this stage of economic integration to who you are saying it's a complete economic integration. So economic integrations is not achieved till today. Okay, not achieved till today. So only it is a monetary union zone. You can take the monetary union, Eurozone. There are some European countries, they accepted the common currency. Okay, so now we are moving one by one. You have written, all of you? Please write the name of all these things. Okay, now why integrations, economic integrations, we need it? So suppose you take, here is India and here is other countries, say China, say Pakistan, say Sri Lanka, say Bangladesh, etc. You can take. See, there is a, you have seen there is a normal perception, normal rules or normal objective, and each and every country is following these norms. And what is the normal strategy or common strategy? Each and every country of the world, they prefer to increase their exports, but they always prefer to discourage their imports. Because you're knowing that if I am able to increase our exports, then our domestic goods and services is going to be more demanded in international market. Production will go up, employment will go up, I'm able to earn more foreign currency. But if you're allowing more imports, so if you're allowing the more imports, then it is going to decrease the production of your country, because the demand of domestic demand is going to meet through the imports. So imports will decrease, so your domestic production is going to be affected. Since you are buying, so you have to pay the foreign currency, so there is outflow of foreign currency. So you don't prefer it basically. So each and every country prefer to increase their exports, but they are discouraging the imports. So what is happening to discourage the imports or decrease the imports? Each and every country putting up barriers. Most of the times, okay, barriers, and that barriers is known as trade barriers. So India basically wants to trade, export more to China. China wants to export more to India. Pakistan wants. So each and every country want to export more to each other country. But not a single country wants that they should sell in my country. So all of this, in this transaction, they are putting a barrier. And these barriers is known as trade barriers. Trade barriers. These are known as the trade barriers. They're imposing a trade barriers. Now trade barriers may be tariff, and maybe non-tariff, tariff and maybe non-tariff. They're imposing it. Okay, and their only aim is restrict and restrict the trade, means they're putting it only for, they're not allowing the imported goods to be sold in the country or import. They don't want to increase the imports. So tariff means tax on imported items. Generally tariff means tax on imported items. But it is not true that tax is only imposed on imported items. But normally what is happening, the each and every government, their aim is to encourage the exports and discourage the imports, means increase the exports and decrease the imports. So when you want to increase the exports, so then you don't prefer to tax that product, because taxing means you are giving disincentive. So generally the government not imposing on exports, but they are maximum times they are imposing the tariff on, or tariff means tax on imported goods. So that is the reason we are saying tariff means taxes imposed on imported goods. But if you ask me, sir, only imported, then my answer will be no, because sometimes government also imposing tariff on exported items. Suppose I'm the government, I feel that the product which are exported to other nations, that product has more importance, more demand in my domestic country. If I allow exporting more to other countries, then maybe the domestic supply will be lower, and that can create inflations, and which can adversely affect my country. So that time I will impose tariff, so that exporters should not export to other nations, but they prefer to sell in domestic country. So in that case, I may impose tariff on exported product. Like few years back, the government has put some restriction tariff on the export of pulses, because pulses prices started shoot up in the country. So each and every country do that if there is a requirement in the country. But generally, if you think, let's say, imposed on the tariff is imposed on the imported items. So ultimate aim is what? Discourage the imports and increase the exports. Clear? Now, what is non-tariff barriers? Non-tariff barriers may be your quota you are talking about. Suppose you can impose that, no, I am going to allow you to sell your product in my country, but not more than 1,000 units, not more than 2,000 units. So when you restrict the quantity, so it means you impose a quota, you can't sell more than this quantity. So it is one of the restrictions. You can restrict it. I cannot allow you more than this. Other way of restriction is, suppose recently you can see the European Union, they restricted the sale of Indian mangoes in their economy. They cited one reason that the chemicals you are using, it's not suitable, it's not good for the health of our citizens. So I'm not going to allow you. Few years back, if you just go and just see that, just read the history, then you will get it. Even in USA, they stopped importing your garments, the cotton garments from India, citing that you are using the child labor. So I'm not going to use this product to sell in my country, which is child labor is not acceptable in my society. So basically, if this type of restriction they can put, and the ultimate aim is to stop the selling of your product in my domestic country, then this restriction is known as this barrier is known as the non-tariff barriers. Clear? So yes, non-tariff you can put or tariff you can put. Then question is that how you can remove these barriers, because most of the countries are practicing this. So what is the way out? How can you solve this issue? The best way, go for the economic integrations. So when you're going to economic integrations, two country or more than two country coming together, and this restriction they are started removing after agreement. So when two country entering to an agreement, then initially the trust level, relationship, so many factors are working. They are thinking whether this will work or not. So first they prefer to enter to a very basic level of agreement, and which is known as the preferential trade agreement. So suppose two countries you take, this country exporting 100 units to this country, and suppose this country exporting in 100 units. So in PTA, before agreement, both are charging on each other products very high rate tariff, say around 50%, 60%, 80% like this. But after agreement, both the countries agreed that yours, others products, other member nations countries product, they are agreed I will cut down taxes on some selected products. So in PTA, the member countries cut down the tariffs on selected products, meaning product on which you agreed upon. All other items we are not agreed on that items is still you are charging higher tariff. Still you are charging higher tariff. So that is known as a PTA. It's very initial stage of agreement. After that, when you enter to the FTA, foreign trade, free trade area or agreement. Free trade area or agreement means, suppose this country. Suppose these countries agreed upon an agreement. So agreement is known as the FTA, free trade agreement. But area formed by these countries, is known as the free trade area. Area formed by these countries a free trade area. So free trade area, it's just representing that now each country allowed free movement of goods and services among the nations. Not a single country charging any tariff on other products. So that is the reason it is known as the free trade area or free trade agreement. Clear till here? First you write few lines, then I will move ahead. Right. Just you write first economic integration. For a variety of reasons, right, it often makes sense for nations to coordinate their economic policies. Clear? Full stop, right? Coordination can generate benefits that are not possible otherwise. Okay, right. Any type of arrangement in which countries agree to coordinate their trade, fiscal and monetary policies, is referred as economic integration. Okay. Now first you write preferential trade agreement, or you can say write preferential trade area. Okay. Write first few lines. Right. A preferential trade area is a trading bloc which gives preferential access to certain products from certain countries. Certain countries means member countries. Certain countries bracket you can write, or member countries. Full stop, right? It is done by reducing tariffs. But does not eliminate them. Completely. Okay, full stop, right? In a PTA, countries offer tariff reductions. To a set of tariff reductions to a set of partner countries in some product categories. In a PTA, countries will offer tariff reductions to a set of partner countries in some product categories. Full stop, right? Higher tariffs will remain in all remaining products categories. Higher tariffs will remain in all remaining products categories. Clear, dear? Now you write FTA, free trade area or free trade agreement. FTA, free trade area or free trade agreement. Please write a free trade area. A free trade area occurs when a group of countries agree to eliminate tariffs among themselves but maintain their own external tariffs on imports from the non-member countries. Now see, what is the meaning of this line? Suppose India, China, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, they entered to the FTA only. FTA, free trade area, they established. So FTA means they only agreed upon how to trade among them. Okay, at what tariff I am going to impose on your product. There is no question of tariff now because it's free trade area. So I allowed you more or less each and every product of you also allowed my product to trade. But this agreement among the member countries. So FTA only agreed upon how to trade among member countries. If any non-member country, suppose USA is there, and if you are going to establish any trade relations with the USA, so you can just make your agreement at your own terms and conditions. So external tariff, what you are going to charge from the non-member countries, you are free to decide. Why? Because in this FTA is only agreed, you sign how to trade among member nations, how to charge, how to just among the member nations. Clear? This agreement is only binding constraint to that. Okay, but with the non-member countries, you are free to do trade. That's your written that. But if you are going for customs union, now add custom union concept. You understand this. Suppose you take the example of India. Okay, so India, suppose you want to enter from this Jammu and Kashmir side, suppose you want to enter from Gujarat, suppose you want to enter to the northeast, suppose you want to enter to the southern states. So from any entry point you can choose to enter India, but the tariff or customs duties you are going to pay, it will remain same. It is not going to change because the border is same. Similarly, similar concept you bring it here in the customs union. If all these countries, all the member countries, they are signed in custom union, means now they are behaving a common border. So once you sign the custom unions, in that case, if any non-member countries, if you are doing trade, then you have to follow the terms and conditions. It is the part of your customs unions agreement. So there is the difference. The FTA is only the foreign trade free trade area. If you sign agreement, you signed. So FTA is only going to decide how to trade among the member countries. But if you sign the customs union agreement, so not only you agreed upon how to trade among nations, member nations, but you also agreed upon how to trade with the non-member countries. Like you take the example of European Union. I've written that in the bracket European Union and customs union. Why I written this? Because if you take European Union is also a customs union. Custom union. Why? Because the whole European Union, whole European countries behaving a common border. So if you enter from any country of this European Union or doing a trade with any European Union, so your terms and conditions will be same as the terms and condition of European Union. Because you are behaving, you sign a custom union agreement and you are behaving a single entity. So these things will remain same. Clear to all? Right, all of you. This is the difference between FTA and customs union. Right. A customs union occurs. When a group of countries agree to eliminate tariffs among the member countries and set a common external tariffs on imports from the non-member countries. Clear? Right. European Union represents such an arrangement. Okay, full stop. Right. Okay. Clear here? Now, this is common customs union. It is there. Concept is clear? Now, next one we are talking about common market. So when you are saying they establish the customs union, this group of countries, it means now the foreign trade policy related to the trade with other nations, you are started behaving a single currency country. So all rest non-members are for you, the rest of the world. Okay, for you. So with the other nations, other non-member countries, if you are trading, then rules and regulation will remain same. Means foreign trade policy is same when you are forming a custom union. Remember in the earlier class when I started, that day I discussed there are three macroeconomic policies. One is your monetary policy, one is your fiscal policy, and third one is your foreign trade policy. So here it is a common customs union. Which one left? One left. Now we will integrate. Let's see the later one. So after custom union, which is the second stage? Next stage is your common market. So your custom union, you allowed free movement of goods and services among the member nations. You allow the free movements. And when you establish the customs unions, it means you are behaving, means all countries combinedly behaving a single border or single, that is the reason the single tariff you are charging, okay, with non-member countries, all the countries combined. So till customs unions, your external tariff is same, and there is a free movement of goods and services. So when you are going to sign the common market, then what things you are going to add more so that you can say it's common market? So if member countries are going to allow, if member countries going to allow the free movement of good factors of production, because already there is a free movement of goods and services are there. If we allow the free movements of factors of production among the member nations, and what are the factors of production? Capital and labor. So if you allow the free movements of factors of production like labor and capital, then we can say that integration is the common market. So again, I am just telling you the other way. So what do you mean by the common market? So in common market, two countries or more than two countries agreed upon, the free movement of goods and services, common external tariffs, and also allowed free movements of goods and free movements of labor and capital. Then then means what? It is the characteristics of common market. Clear? Okay, if you take the European Union, so first you write common market, right? Few line you write. A common market establishes free trade, of goods and services. Establishes free trade of goods and services, comma, common external tariffs among members and also allow for the free mobility of factors of production like capital and labor, across member countries. Okay, write few lines more. The European Union was established. As a common market by the Treaty of Rome in 1957. Full stop, right? It took a long time for the transition to take place. Today, full stop, right? Today, European Union citizens can work in any European Union member country, and can invest throughout the union and can invest throughout the union without restriction, throughout the union without restriction. Okay, just think, all of you, just go through one by one. I mean, all the integrations, different stages, and connect it. And one more thing, you think, what is the economic reason and why the Britain left the European Union? I know there is a political reason, but don't go to the political reason. Just think about the economic reasons. Just think. Can you give me just 1 minute?